Okay. So today I'll be going over AMT versus Power 3. This is my third time making this video. The first video or the first attempt I had, I forgot to record my mic. So yeah, it was like 20 minutes wasting my time. And then the second one got the footage got corrupted. So yeah, this is my third time doing this video. So I might do it quicker than I did before, but we'll see. So this is honestly this AMT versus Power 3, and they're both kind of the same. Auction market theory and Power 3, they are the same, but thing is that AMT came first before Power 3, and ICT rebranded Power 3 from AMT. There's only a couple things that ICT actually added in Power 3 that makes it different than AMT, and I'll explain in this video. So, but they're almost the same thing, except Power 3 has the fractal nature, and open high low close and open low high close. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over this. Auction market theory, AMT, right? And ICT's Power 3 concept are deeply complementary, even though they come from different ways of looking at the chart. AMT is a traditional market profile theory, and Power 3 is a ICT, SMT, smart money concepts. So I'm going to be going to this little table right here. This is a concept comparison. So we have our content, AMT, auction market theory, Power 3. Yeah. So we have our purpose, our key ideas, and our behavior driven by. So in the first one, AMT, understand market behavior, fair value, auction around fair price, Fed auctions. And the Power 3, understanding daily, weekly price, delivery, using accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Key ideas, value area, acceptance versus rejection, power, point control, POC, volume shelves, accumulation, manipulation, distribution for the key ideas, behavior driven by price, acceptance, and rejection, quote unquote, institutional order flow and manipulation. The reason why I say this is quote unquote because some ICT people, they say like higher time frame we're bullish. Well, no shit, we're bullish. So like, and they say this is a weird word to say, like institutional order flow. Like, I don't know, quote unquote. That's what I'm gonna say. And manipulation is not a real thing. It is, but not in the way maybe ICT teaches it as. This is a Fed auction, the balance area, but they're the same thing. And I can say that it's rebranded because it is rebranded, AMT. And I'll be going over how to like actually pair them up because I think they're actually pretty powerful when you pair them up, and which one's better. So that's what we're going over in this video, later down in the video. But even ICT, like, I watched a couple of his videos, and he was saying that I remember watching like a video where he showed like a manipulation range. And at the manipulation range, he was telling us that there's going to be trap sellers or trap buyers at the manipulation range. So he even agrees with the order flow. Because if you go to my auction market theory video, you can see that I think I explained trap traders or trap buyers, trap sellers when it gets absorbed and goes to the opposite side. So it's kind of what ICT teaches, but he teaches kind of its own way. But they're essentially the same thing. And also, if ICT traders, that some of them say that they don't believe in volume profile or don't believe in buying or selling pressure, they believe in ICT. Well, a lot of them say that like they look at book maps and shit, but like we all know book maps are limits and they can be easily spoofed. So it makes no sense. They haven't really done the research in auction market theory or anything else. They just look at the book map and oh yeah, that's how order flow moves, but it's not really. It's not true level 2 data. So Using this constant comparison table, I will show you accumulation, manipulation, and distribution is the same with AMT. The accumulation range is balanced when orders are two-sided and can't seem to overpower the other. The manipulation phase is a failed auction where either buyers and sellers fail to auction further to new prices or past value, creating a V shape. The distribution phase is the true move of the daily range, always the biggest move of the three. And saying when there's a failed auction, it wants to accept back into price or into value, and that just got out of or prior value. And I'll explain this whole thing right here in pictures. So this is how ICT teaches it right now. He teaches it that we're accumulating orders in this range, and we eventually want to see manipulation and distribution up. So this is how ICT teaches it, accumulation. I'm going to show you. It's the same thing as balance area. And balance in AMT and volume profile presented the balance. And volume profile presents the balance. So obviously in the volume profile, it's going to create a whole bulk of orders. So this whole bulk creates the orders. Like, it shows you how much orders are here. So of course there's going to be a point of control of the orders, the most area that's traded, and the most volume that's traded in this whole area. But usually where it reacts off is it's the shelves, of course, right? So we have the extremes right here, the standard deviations. We have the extremes. So this is where it kind of reacts from. Manipulation and failed auction. So we have ICT teaches the accumulation, right? And we have our draw, which are these lows or highs. It can be vice versa. And then we have our manipulation downwards into a PD ray or something like a breaker. I put a breaker just because, but I know a lot of ICT traders, they do a lot of like CE trading, like they pair like a lot of CEs together and they get love off of that or something like that. And I'm showing you the same thing as AMT. And ICT just rebranded it, but it's basically this AMT. At least this part. So we have accumulation, which is this balance range, but then when it manipulates, we go into another balance range, which goes into prior value. It goes to extreme, so it will reject off another extreme. Distribution and going back into balance. So we have two scenarios actually. We have our accumulation, which is right here. We have our breaker, right, which is our manipulation, and we have our distribution. So it can either distribute up to find new prices or new auctioning, or we could react off of this middle zone of the accumulation and reject lower. And same thing with AMT, the exact same thing. It could either go to this balance or shelf right here, react off of it, or it can, and it'll go to prior value, which is right here, and reject lower or go higher to seek new prices. And I can show example right here actually. So we have this high right here. So this is our high time frame accumulation range, right? Accumulation, we have our manipulation up, take out these highs, relative equal highs. And when we go in a low time frame, we can see that it distributes down. So we can see that it plays out like this, right? It plays out like this, but it's vice versa, right? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution goes all to the other side. Same thing right here. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution goes to the other side. Well, I'm going to show you the other example I showed. We have accumulation. This is the weekly, PO3. We have accumulation, manipulation, and this could be our distribution, right? But the thing is that it goes into the middle to prior value again, right? And then goes back down, which is literally what happens right here. Goes back down. It's the same thing that happens. So those are the two things that could happen. So this is it for the constant comparison. And now I'm going to be going over which is better and how you can pair it together. Which is better? Auction market theory explains the where and how with the volume profile, right? Where the value is and how price auctions. PO3 explains the when, why price manipulates, and smart money initiates the move. Together they provide opponent framework. PO3 gives narrative, AMT gives structure. AMT explains where and how by showing where the actual value is on the volume profile, so you can play the off the extremes to get levels, of course, right? And how is it just on AMT works? I think I spelled this wrong. I'm not sure though. The power 3 shows the win in its fractal nature. You can see the power 3 will play out in sessions or days. So I'm talking about, of course, the weekly and the daily power 3 and whatever, right? I don't use PD arrays. I think they're not very efficient, but some of them do make sense in an order flow perspective, and I'll be maybe going over those in future videos, like maybe how standard deviation fib works or other PD arrays and order flow concepts work. There's reasons why they work. There's a reason why every fair value does not work, or every breaker, or every order block, or rejection wick, or whatever. So I know what you're gonna say. You could probably read this first thing right now, that I think power 3 is better, and you're probably wondering like, well, you make order flow videos. How can we think AMT is not better than power 3? Well, personally for me, I like the fractional nature of it, meaning that I like to know what time frame I'm trading on. Like, I like to have a certain time to trade. Like, it gives me time management, and it gives me my rules like better. And I'll explain it more in this thing, like my examples. So I just like it better just for time management, and it's the fractal nature that AMT doesn't have, but they're essentially the same thing. I do think AMT is better overall. Like, not overall, but like in the accumulation, manipulation, distribution, I like power 3 just because of the fractal nature, to be honest. And the open high low close, open low high close. And I'll explain it in the examples. So I personally think power 3 is better just because of the fractal nature, even though I use AMT just as much as power 3 with volume profiles or TPOs. I think it's better because it's a cheat code knowing when, like, if I want to play the 4-hour power 3, and I can wait for a new 4-hour candle and wait for the accumulation / Fed auction, and it helps me with time management for me. AMT is more about the where, like in volume profiles, extremes, standard deviations, whatever, right? When actually playing the Fed auction, of course you can pair them, but I feel like pairing the power 3 and AMT is the best thing I've done for my trading, which is true. This is by far comparing, like doing levels off the volume profile and AMT and getting a framework of time with the power 3 fractional nature is really good. I also may think power 3 is better, but I don't believe in the logic behind it. And I know I'm playing a better AMT just with times. I don't believe the logic of manipulation or anything like that. It's the same. It's going to be the same thing as order flow. ICT just rebranded it. As you can see, even from this concept comparison, they're fucking the same thing. I mean, okay, how to pair them? You can pair the power 3 and AMT by trying to find levels off AMT with the volume profile and wait for a daily 4-hour power 3 setup forming. You will have the correct time and level to play off of if you use correctly with open high low close and open low high close. So these are 2 trades I took personally last week. So you can see that the new 4-hour opened right here, and I'm explaining to you why I like the power 3 better, maybe. So in this example, you can see that there's a balance range right here, right? So people may be like, okay, well, this is a Fed auction, right? It goes lower than this balance area, right? We're failing off to new prices, so we want to see back in this value, where it goes to, right? Thing is that we have a bigger move down. Why is that? If we have a Fed auction, we want to go higher. Well, it's because of the 4-hour power 3. This makes no sense to trade in. I think maybe at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I think this is the time where it makes no sense to trade this. even though this is balance failed auction, and we want to see reposition into this prior balance, but it just makes no sense to me. I have a certain time to trade. Like we have the open, high, low, close, right? So we have an open, high, low, close. So this just gives me like a time period of trade. So this counts out like this over here, and you can see that it goes into my shelf, which is my level. So if you pair the AMT volume profile with PO3 framework and times, you can get a pretty good setups like this. This is not fully how I trade, but it's a very key component how I trade. And same thing with right here. There's an open, low, high, close, right? This is NFP, so you don't want to trade before the NFP. So this is NFP. It went down lower. Your news can manipulate or distribute depending. So we see the new 4-hour PO3 open up right here, and we see it go lower. We see it go into a shelf, and we're expecting an open, low, high, close. So I took longs right here, and yeah, that's basically how I kind of trade. I mix the volume profile AMT with PO3. It works pretty good, and I use certain time frames or certain candles of fractal that I want to use. So yeah, that's kind of how I think AMT and PO3 is. I do think PO3 is better. If I didn't have AMT, actually I would need both, but I think PO3 is a good concept. It's a better concept just because of the fractal nature, and it helps me with my time management. So this is kind of my PO3, AMT versus PO3. And yeah, that's kind of it. And both of them are very good concepts. I would learn both fully to their max, and I would do both of them. Like I said, how I trade, I like to do both. So it helps me, it's how I trade. It's a good way. And yeah, this is kind of it. And I'll be linking this Notion in the description, so if anyone wants to check it out, you can. So yeah, this is kind of it. AMT versus PO3. Thank you.